The car I'm talking about today, from a practical standpoint, is completely pointless. For starters, the fuel economy is terrible. You can't drive it in the rain. Yeah, you won't be able to have traction. The rear seat is essentially useless. You know, if you wanted to drive your child around so that they'd fall asleep, A, they couldn't fit in the back seat, but then once they were asleep, when you accelerate, the incredibly loud exhaust would immediately wake them up. But it does do one thing very, very well. Welcome to Ford's newest addition to the Mustang lineup, the Shelby GT500. Now, this car is based off of the GT350, but as you can see, they have done dramatic changes and improvements. This thing, you know, it really is almost an entirely new car. It shares some similar features, like the 5.2 liter flat plane crank motor in there is derived from the GT350, but they have added a 2.67 liter supercharger on it. That is insane. I mean, it's bigger than most engines. Most car engines are 2 liters and smaller, and this supercharger is that big. You see all of the little aero bits and pieces that they've added. The front splitter, there's been so many changes that you really have to look at the car multiple times to pick out. Now, the Shelbys do maintain the same headlights and basic design that the 2015 through 2017 Mustangs had. They don't have the same updates as the newest generation of the Mustang, and for big reason, because they had already tooled and built all of the custom pieces for the Shelby line. And so after 1 year of production, to immediately switch over to a whole new design, you know, most likely just wasn't in the bean counter's mind. So now it certainly doesn't look outdated next to the new Mustang. With all of the additions and the aero components, it definitely still looks brand new, modern, and right at home next to the other lineup of Mustangs. Now, as Ford's objective with the GT500 was to make it a world-class competitor to take on such vehicles as the Porsche 911 and even the Ferraris out there, they put special attention to the front end on this vehicle. As you can see, there's quite a bit more grille openings as they've really prioritized the airflow through the vehicle. They have additional oil coolers and intercoolers and radiators and all that kind of stuff to help the performance and the cooling of this vehicle. Whenever you add that much power, you need to make sure that your airflow will support it. Additionally, as you can see, there's the splitter, and we have the vertical uprights and the canards and the brake duct cooling and all of that stuff that it really gives you the idea of just how track capable this car is. Even as you see on the hood, the vent that's coming out here, that allows the air, once it's passed through, to go up and out and over the car as it directs the aerodynamics. A lot of times you'll see something on the hood and it's more just decorative, but with this car, everything has purpose. Everything is intended to make this do one thing, and that is to go around a track as fast as humanly possible. So with this new 760 horsepower motor, Ford has had to employ some big weapons in their arsenal to help control all of that raw power. In the front, it has these massive Brembo brakes that pretty much rip your face off whenever you mash that brake pedal. It also has the Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2 tires, which are pretty much the closest thing you can get to a racing slick in a production car. And in the front, they have the 305 tire on a 20-inch wheel, and in the back, it's the 315. So you have tons of meat on your tires to help you keep traction. As we move our way to the inside of the vehicle, the GT specific nuances and character just continues in here. For starters, it has these amazing Recaro competition seats. These things, I mean, I'm relatively thin, and this thing, it hugs you so well, and you just feel planted in it. One of the things that I really don't like is a performance vehicle that has like large leather seats, because I just feel like I'm just sliding all over the place. With this thing, I mean, I'm not going anywhere. It is planted, and you feel like you have control whenever you're driving this. Additionally, this steering wheel as well has the suede Alcantara wrapping on it. It has your center line here so that you can always have a reference on where your steering angle is. And then you have these great paddle shifters on here. These are these billet aluminum pieces that look really good. I feel like they're large enough to where you're always going to be able to engage them whenever you're turning. Sometimes you get in a vehicle and the paddles are just like those little small ones, and you kind of feel like you might miss it if you're really driving aggressively. But these ones are big enough. The only thing that would have made it better is if they would have been stationary mount on the column. That's one thing that I really love about, you know, some of your real high-end vehicles is whenever they have the paddle shifters mounted stationary and they're not turning with the wheel. So then you always know that on the right side you have your upshift, the left side you had your downshift. But, you know, it's pretty close to perfect. Can't be 100% perfect. Also, it has the carbon fiber throughout, which looks spectacular. You have your rotary dial shifter for the 7-speed transmission. Obviously with these we don't have an option of a 6-speed, and I know a lot of people complain about that. I do agree that there's a certain appeal to being able to row through gears, but once you drive this thing and you really experience this transmission, it's really incredible, especially in a car, you know, in this price range. Pretty much all the other controls are very, you know, it's everything out of the Mustang. You have all of your same controls here. You have your mode selectors for your exhaust, for your ride control, going anywhere from a comfort mode all the way up to your full-blown track mode, which, you know, deactivates all your nannies and your traction control. Your exhaust, there's the 4 different modes, just like in the regular Mustang, where you have quiet, normal, sport, and the mode that we all keep it in 100% of the time, track mode. Everything feels very well put together. It's high quality material. The layout is easy to access. You don't feel cramped. You just very much feel in control. You have so many things right at your fingertips on the steering wheel. And, you know, that's one thing that I really like about the Mustang in general, but, you know, this one gives you even more additional features. Being that it's a performance vehicle, they want to give you some more of your dampener and steering settings on here, just so that you can be adjusting these on the fly directly from your steering wheel, almost like you would in a real race car. Now, obviously, the back seat, it's just like any other Mustang. You know, yes, people can fit back there. There's a little bit of room. You know, a full-size 6-foot adult probably won't be comfortable for a long drive in it, but that's not really the point here. Let's be real. I mean, this thing is about performance. It's about the experience of driving. It's not so much about, you know, going out and hauling people around. I highly doubt any Uber drivers are going to be using one of these to be picking up people. All right, so and here it is. This is the heart and the muscle of this beast. This is the 5.2 liter Voodoo flat plane crank motor with this massive 2.65 liter supercharger. This thing is absolutely insane. I mean, it's putting out 760 horsepower and 610 foot-pounds of torque. This is the most powerful motor that Ford has ever made. 760 in a street car. I mean, like I said, you have to be a lunatic to buy this. And it's amazing. So what's truly impressive is the fact that they're making something not only that is this powerful, but it's also reliable. I mean, this has got to be in a car that is driven on a regular basis, that is used, that is supposed to be backed by a warranty through Ford. And so to be able to be producing 760 horsepower, I mean, you know, it used to be that if you build a race car with that much power, you'd have to be rebuilding the motor on a regular basis. You could do, you know, maybe a few runs down the drag strip, and then you'd have to rebuild it or refresh it or something like that. But this thing is supposed to just keep going, producing this kind of power, and that is just amazing and a true testament to where motor building is in this modern age. And you know, I'm really blown away by this powertrain. I think that this is really the hallmark of this car. This is the heart and the soul, and what really makes this thing great is this engine. Not only is it incredibly powerful, but it sounds amazing. That flat plane crank just gives it higher RPM and just a more exotic sound to it. So under the hood, you notice some of the other things that they've done to improve the performance of it. Up here, you know, a lot of the core supporting is made with a carbon fiber composite. We have this integrated strut mount support, and there's just lots of little features that you see that are adding to the performance. You have obviously the air flow going through the hood, and it's, you know, you can really see how Ford has just purpose built this to be a high performance track car. Be sensible, they'll say. Why don't you just get a fuel-efficient car or a hybrid or something like that? You know, you'd pretty much have to be a lunatic to buy this car with its 760 horsepower. But as impractical as this car is, as soon as you press that accelerator, everything makes sense. See, that is the thing, you know, you get in a car like this and it just makes you believe that money does buy happiness. You know, you can buy this and you'll just be walking around constantly like this with a giant smile on your face, because you are the owner of a 760 horsepower Mustang that is not only street legal, but it's also highly capable on the track. So I've driven a lot of fast cars in my day, and you know, this thing it's truly impressive how it's able to be so very mild and tame at low speeds. That was one of the things that first struck me about this transmission, is the fact that it is so smooth and so capable at low speeds. Not only that, but it is unbelievably fast. I mean, listen to this. Few milliseconds, and it just shifts instantly. Now I understand a lot of people would like to have a manual transmission in that, and you know, I understand. I'm a big fan of manual transmissions as well, but you can't deny that this is truly a spectacular transmission. I think that once you drive it and you realize it and you get to experience it, it'll leave you less for want for a manual transmission. So one of the other things, you know, I'm not an 18-year-old anymore. I used to have the cars with the loud exhaust and all that stuff, but you know, I'm a family man now, and I have children, and so you know, it just wouldn't be sensible. So that's one of the great things about this, is the fact that it has the 4-mode exhaust. So not only do you get to have something that's not gonna terrify and wake up your neighbors when you start it up in the morning, but whenever you're out on those country roads, you can put it into that track mode and you'll get to really experience this motor in all its glory and all of its sound. That's one of the things that I love that Ford has done, is, you know, they've given you these 4-mode exhausts that makes it to where you can enjoy that sound without having to go out and buy an aftermarket exhaust and then render your vehicle essentially useless for normal day-to-day driving. So I gotta say, I mean, this vehicle No, it's not fuel efficient. It doesn't fit your whole family. But if you want to buy a vehicle that will compete on a world-class level with your Porsches, your Ferraris, all that kind of stuff, that won't break the bank. I mean, there is nothing out there that can touch this GT500. I mean, I'm absolutely in love. If I could, you know, trade a few of my children, no, not really, but but I would buy one of these in a heartbeat if that was a possibility. This thing is just truly spectacular. Ford's new GT500 is without a doubt the most technologically advanced Mustang to come out of Ford. It's also the most powerful with that 760 horsepower powertrain in it. But you know, the ultimate question is this the best Mustang ever made by Ford? And I would have to say that, you know, definitely on paper, when you look at the numbers, this is without a doubt the best Mustang that Ford has ever produced. This is now capable of competing with your high-end sports cars. This is really reflecting Ford's first of all, their pedigree in motorsports. You know, as we've seen with the GT40 history, this reflects that and their ability to go out and dominate on a world level. I truly believe that this is the best Mustang that Ford has come out with. You know, it very much harkens back to the original first generation of Mustangs, whenever they had that fastback, and it was truly world changing, and it brought a new level of vehicle really and performance. It created the pony car, and this is redefining that yet again to being able to be something that can compete with all the other sports cars on a higher level. And I really think that this is going to bring the level of what a pony car is up to the next level. Thank you all so much for watching this video. We hope you have found it enjoyable. If you just absolutely have to have a GT500, you can reach out to us at Prestige Ford. All of the contact information is below. We also have, you know, every other Ford vehicle available. We can ship vehicles nationwide, and we have incredible deals and world-class service. So hit us up at Prestige Ford. Don't forget to subscribe to the videos, and we will see you next time.